Howdy, all you delicious people. I'm here today to review Chainsaw Man, Season 1, Episodes 4 through 6. So, we have in these episodes, we kind of pick up where we left off, where Denji, of course, is to have slayed the Bat Devil. We come to find out that Power and Meowie are still alive, I guess. We had the Bat Devil that was, of course, still, I guess, maybe having them in his digestive system and not quite all done just yet. So we have Denji that is to be done with the threat and is to go on and realize that he is going to have to be up for another one. So Denji then realizes that he just can't go on and fight everything alone, as we start to find that there is a group of characters that are all to come to the fray and now be in this Division 4. Where, of course, we have Denji, who is now making his way with this group to Hotel Morin. And come to find out, this is all simply because Denji is to need to obtain this objective so he can get a wish from Makima. So we have these 3 episodes that get rather interesting, and it's still a great show. So I really went on and I really enjoyed every bit of this. And so we get some backstory more from Aki, because not only is Denji going through this journey, but Aki even has this whole revenge story of why he wants to go on and he wants to take down the devil that they are going to face at some point in this season, hopefully. So Aki, of course, is to get all these flashbacks. Some may be tied to Himeno. That, of course, would be this kind of eye-patched devil hunter character. And she, of course, will kind of tell us about how many times that she's kind of been partnered up with people, how at some points that will work out, and some side effects of that. So a rather just interesting story of sorts. So with that said, yeah, in a very roundabout way, that kind of quickly sums up what happens in all these episodes. But I'm also trying to get this done a little bit quicker than probably the first time around. So hopefully maybe that works. Hopefully maybe it doesn't. So with that said, episodes were great. Go ahead and check these out on YouTube. And probably after that, I'll probably have to figure something out once we get to that point. But otherwise, I think it's about that time to just double 5 this bad boy up, because it's about that time, yet again, to of course go into spoiler time, it's about that time to get to spoil these episodes. So, we have Denji, like I said, picking up where he left off, with the whole final strike to take down the Bat Devil. And Denji goes on to see that Power and Meowie are still off to the side. We have Power, who is to go on and have a bunch of flashbacks of her chopping off heads of animals and cows and consuming them and drinking the blood from out of them. Possibly leaving us to have Denji probably having to continue on to do that kind of thing at some point also. But yeah, so Power ends up asking Denji, it's well, hey, why did you save my life? And we, of course, have Denji, who's just like this. And so we have Power that's seriously? That's the whole reason why you saved me? And so Power is just well, that was a foolish errand. That was a foolish thing to do. And Denji's I don't care. You're the only one that's offering, so I freaking took it. So Power is telling Denji, it's like, well, hey, if you want to go on and if you want to take that now, like I'd be fine with that. So Denji, of course, gets excited about that. He goes on, is like, yay! And all of a sudden he loses an arm and he's like, ah! Coming to find out, we then realize that Benji is going to meet, or Denji is going to meet the Leech Devil. So we have Denji that is to see this Devil that is about the size of like a dinosaur, like, you know, one of those like long necked ones that usually only eat like trees and stuff like that. It's a kind of leaf dinosaur. It's a big freaking dinosaur. So we, of course, have Denji that starts talking to the Leech Devil, and the Leech Devil states that, hey, like, if you just want to move aside and kind of walk away, like, I'll go on and I'll consume power and Meowie, and, like, I'll just kind of let you go. And Denji kind of looks at Power, it's like, well, hey, can you move? And she's like, maybe a finger, and that's about it. So Denji's like, well, like, I'm not going to just let you take these people. So we have the Leech Devil that is a state. It's like, well, like I was tied to the Bat Devil, and because, of course, like, her prior commitment to this Bat Devil, I got to be all upset. Now I want to go on and I want to kill her, and yada yada. So, like, we go on and we have Denji that just starts complaining about how everybody seems to have these like these whole objectives, and they have these revenge things, and like everybody has to go on and have this like profound reason for going on and doing what they're doing, and simply because Denji doesn't really have one, or that it's a stupid like reasoning, like he's just getting more and more just upset with the fact it's like who cares about any of these people, like none of their stories really matter at the end of the day to Denji. So Denji goes on to chainsaw up, pulling his ripcord out of his chest, then realize only a little bitty chainsaw is to come out of his head. So he's like, oh crap, like I guess I should have gone on and figured out a way to get more blood. Because like this is my one true weakness, is to like kind of run out of gas. So we still have Denji that's just like, well, you know what, I'm gonna figure something out. Like I'm just gonna like outspeed this character, or I'm just gonna outmaneuver, or go on and just slice the right way, and hopefully that works. So Denji tries to use his speed and tries to cut through this character, and is to cut part of its neck. And when Denji ends up kind of getting attacked back, we then have Aki appear. Aki appear and is to go on and channel the Fox Devil, and have the Fox Devil go on and easily consume this thing. And so I'm like, what? Like that just came out of nowhere. So speaking of coming out of nowhere, we then have Aki that is to be surrounded by these team of people. We have, of course, Hobeni, or Kobeni, Higashiyama, the little girl with the two little, like kind of things in her hair. Then we, of course, have Himino, who's the eye patch, kind of like the pirate-looking character. And then we also have Hirokazu, who is to kind of be the spike the hair guy, and that's pretty much it for this team. So we have Denji that goes on to the hospital after this fight is over, because he had gotten knocked out pretty good. So by the time they go to the hospital, we of course find that they were to find his arm, and it just reconnected. So Denji seems to be a real devil. So we have Aki that is talking to Denji and is saying like, well, hey, it seems like you're gonna like be in my team, and so maybe you should kind of mind your manners and kind of treat me better. And we of course have Denji that's like, yeah, I'm really gonna look into that. As Aki is kind of carving these apples, and Denji is kind of just downing them. So we have Denji telling Aki that like power like isn't that bad of a person, but like she was just kind of like caught in the middle of something. So Aki goes on to uncuff power, and we have Aki that even goes so far to talk to Makima and is to give a statement of what had happened. And so Makima like is to like, okay, I get the statement. So we also come to find out that Aki had to sacrifice some of the skin on his body to the wolf devil, so the wolf devil could have come in and saved Denji here. It's like, well, like what a sacrifice. So yeah, so we go on to furthermore have Denji, who is to have to kind of fill out paperwork and fill out all these reports about him going on and killing both the Bat Devil and, of course, also the Leech Devil. So we have Makima that is saying to Denji, it's like, well, this kind of feels like a punishment having you do all this paperwork, but like really like it's all on purpose to kind of like cross the D's and dot the I's. So we have Makima that is to go on and talk to Denji, and this ends up also happening, of course, after Denji is to be with Power in this bathroom, and he is to cop a feel 3 times on Power, and we go on to have Denji, who's just like, okay, like that just felt nothing to me. To where Denji then turns around and needs to like kind of get this moment with Makima, where she goes on and kind of bites his finger, and is to then go on to continue to get even closer and closer to Denji, to the point of like Denji, he's kind of like falling back and he's like, ugh. So we have Makima that tells Denji, it's like, well, hey, like, if you go on and you do this one objective for me, like, I'll grant you some wish, whatever wish you want. We'll go on and we'll do that. So we have Denji that is to hear this objective of taking out this gun devil. It seems that with all the big events that are to happen in the world, this is what caused the gun devil to get even more powerful, and so on and so forth. So we have, of course, that this character was to wipe out 1.2 billion or 1.2 million people at one time. So we come to find out that that whole story has something to do with Aki. So we transition, and so Denji is talking, or Denji. So Denji is talking to Maki, and it transitions to a flashback of Aki, who is to be a young kid, and he all of a sudden is noticing in a room that Taiyo, Aki's brother, is sick, and we have like his parents next to him. So Aki is like, well, like, brother, you're not really sick, like I just want to go on and I just want to have fun. And so Tayo is just like, well, hey, like I'm not really that sick. I'll go out and I'll play with you. So they start playing around, and all of a sudden this leads to a snowball fight. And so Tayo just kind of makes his way back into the house, and we all of a sudden have Aki by the time he gets to the house. We have his house just explode. It explodes without a real legitimate like explosion. There is no like fire. There is no like it feels like a massive wind just blew this house down because that's what it seems like. But so we have that state that 1.2 million had been annihilated, and so it all had been annihilated via the Gun Devil. So that's of course where uh, Makima is going to send Denji next. Come to find out, uh, we have the Gun Devil that has this collection of his bullets, and when you end up getting a big mass of them together, the bullets stick together, but if you separate them, they'll go on and track other pieces of the Gun Devil to possibly get to the point of finding the Gun Devil. So we have Aki and we have Himino that go on to fight off against this fish devil, and they find that one of the bullets was to be within this fish. And so they're like, okay, like I guess this wasn't the Gun Devil. This is just leading us to another piece of him. So we like let's get to more of Aki and Himino's backstory. So we have at one point where Aki is to be forced to partner up with Himino, and Himino is now have her eye lost, and she's in this kind of this arm sling. So Himino has stated that she has lost quite a bit of partners, and like I think Aki would be her sixth. So Himino is to go on and tell Aki, it's like, well, hey, like let's go on and like we'll like you'll just be another person who ends up getting killed. And so it seems that Himino and Aki like are similarly gonna be really close friends. It seems. So we even have them at some point like sharing like a pack of cigarettes together, and Himino forces Aki to smoke a cigarette because of course she's smoking cigarettes, so he might as well also. And Aki wants something to do with it, but at some point he ends up finally succumbing and is to smoke like Himino does. So we have Aki that is to also in a flashback. We have Aki and we have Himino, and they're kind of walking by this one location, and some girl just randomly comes up and slaps Himino, and Aki's like, well, what was that? And Himino is like, well, that was from one of my past partner's girlfriends or wife or whatever who died. So, like, I just find these people all over the place and they slap me and I just deal with it. And Aki ends up putting gum on this girl's clothes and is to say, like, don't take crap from people like that. Like, you gotta be more of a assertive person. You gotta be a more confident person than just taking that. And maybe they'll stop. So yeah, so that was kind of really interesting. So now we go to the Hotel Morin, where Aki is to have this one bullet and kind of follow around. So we have Makima that goes on to state, okay, like this group, Division 4, they're all going to go on in there together and face against this threat. So we have the 6 agents who are all dispatched. So we have them all waiting in front of this hotel, and we start to get them talking. And so the conversation just starts to all lead to uh, Himino talking to the group and stating that, well, hey, like, whoever goes on and kills this monster, like, I'm gonna go on and I'll kiss them. And we have Denji that's like, well, I'm sorry, but like getting kissed from you, like that doesn't really seem like enough. And Himino's like, oh, all right then. Well, maybe I'll just kind of up the ante and I'll French kiss you. And Denji's like, say what now? Like, like that's all you needed to say. So we have both Denji and both Hirokazu, uh, Hirokazu, and I know I'm probably gonna butcher his first name too. Arai, Arai, is that how it's pronounced? I'm probably gonna state that for the rest of the episode. Arai, Arai. Anyways, so, and if I ill pronounce it, I apologize. It's not meant to be that way. But let's go on. So Arai and Denji are kind of like slamming against the wall, like, hey, no, like, I'm gonna make it. No, I'm gonna get in here. Or no, hey, blah, blah. So what happens is we finally have Aki that is tracked with this bullet that leads them to this door all of a sudden opening, and we have this just head with hands for feet, and that's it. And so we have this monster that just starts coming flying at these people, and we have Himino that uses her ghost devil ability that kind of stops this thing in its tracks, and we have uh, power that comes in and slices this thing in half, and they're just like, oh well, like, is that it? Like, is that all? And we have Aki that's like, well, like, it seems that when like I'm looking at this bullet, it's not directing me anywhere, so I'm assuming that like it's maybe still here or maybe it's dead. Let's just kind of look around more. So we go on to have like Power, who is just kind of talking about how she really slayed that monster. And so we of course have Himino that grabs Power with this ghost devil like ability, and is like, well, hey, like, you couldn't have gone on and done anything without me of using my ability to kind of grab that thing and keep it to where you can go on and to slice that. So we have these characters all making it to the 8th floor. So we all of a sudden have our characters realize, as they make it up to the next floor, we have Arai that is to realize the floor numbers. Like, well, wait a minute, like, why does this floor look so familiar? Because there's this blood stain here. So Arai is to look at the floor number. It's like, wait a minute, like, this still says 8 on it. Like, what happened here? So Arai is to go down the stairs to then realize he's going down into the same floor. And so they're like, wait a minute, like, so we can't get out of this 8th floor for some reason, and we can't figure out why. So we have Aki, or no, we have uh, Hinido, Himino that goes on to have uh, Higashigayama go on and put these double piece representing two to put these up, and so we have Himino that goes on to the same flight of stairs and realizes that they go right back to seeing this girl, and we then have Aki that is tell the girl, "Hey, stay there." Aki goes into this room and then realizes that if they try to get out of the window of this room, it'll just lead to another room, which leads to another room. So they realize that they can't get out of here, so they all go into this room, and they start to realize, like, oh my god, we're gonna get stuck in here forever, and we're never gonna get out of here. We're never gonna fight this monster, whatever it is. So we find that Denji's like, well, you know what? I don't care what all you guys are going through. I'm gonna go and get some sleep. Like, I'm freaking tired. Denji probably hasn't slept in I don't know how long because he's going on doing paperwork and having women like just throw himself at him. So Denji finally falls asleep, and then when Himino wakes him up, gives him a bit of an update where it seems that they can go on and use this water, and also they had found some luggage of certain people that have been here before, so they had found like some kind of resemblance of food. So we have everybody that can't quite figure it out, like what they're going to do next. So that I think is when we, of course, have Himino that talks about the whole cigarette thing, because that's kind of her meal. And so we have Aki that is to also want a cigarette because he's going on and trying to find this monster and he just can't. So we start to have Higashiyama that is to start to bawl her eyes out as we start to have our characters start to like starve and lose their sanity and whatever. So this girl is going on and talking about all her parents ever cared about is her brother's education, and that this girl was just left to have at some point her either become this this sex worker, or to go on and be this this demon hunter, devil hunter. And so she chose this profession. It's like, dude, you probably would have lived a little bit longer in the other profession, but still, like, uh yeah, you're gonna get stuck doing this job. So we have our eye that's kind of telling this girl, it's like, well, hey, like, it's just like, just kind of keep calm. Like, if anything, we'll figure something out. So we finally go on and have the monster that ends up getting revealed to them, and this, of course, ends up being uh, the Eternity Devil. So the thing that, of course, was the freak of nature is just a part of this thing. We realized, like, this probably whole hotel thing is probably just all this devil. Like, that's what I'm assuming, because we have so much of this thing that is all over the gosh darn place. And this thing ends up stating that once we, of course, have Himino that tries to attack this thing with her ghost devil powers, like, it doesn't really pay out the way it should, and the Eternity Devil just goes on and grows bigger. And so it goes on to state, the Eternity Devil, it's like, well, yeah, every time that you're going to go on and attack me, it's going to be pointless, because you need to go on and find like the real, like, heart of me, like the real core of where I am, and it's not here. Like, I'm invincible at floor 8. So we have the Eternity Devil that is to claim that if they give up Denji, the Eternity Devil will let the rest of the group go. He will let them just kind of walk out here and they'll be fine. And Denji is like, well, how can you believe the word of this guy? He's probably just telling you lies and telling you whatever you need to hear. And we have Himino that is telling Denji, no, like, this guy is telling us the absolute truth. Like, this thing is going to tell us, like, what we, um, of course, like, would love to hear, but he'll follow up on that. So Denji is just like, well, like, okay, so what's the plan here? Am I just gonna be food for this thing, or like, so what are we doing? So we come to find out that the characters seem more and more tempted to want to kill Denji, and so we have Higashiyama that is to put a knife to Denji and just be like, well, yeah, like, he's gonna do like what, like, we want to just get out of here. So the girl tries to go on with this knife. Aki takes a knife away from the girl and kind of puts it onto this wall. And so we have Arai that's wanting to go with this plan also. So we get to where our characters are at this elevator shaft, and we have Aki that is to state, it's like, well, if this is like the last resort, then I'll go on and I'll kill Denji and I'll use my sword on him and kill him, because all of them are just seeing him as a devil anyways. And it's like, well, like, he's expendable. We have Arai that's like, well, like, hey man, like, we'll just have one less devil, or we'll just have one less uh like guy on our team. Like, what difference does that make? We'll just get out of here. But yet you won't defeat this entity, this thing, and that's the big thing. Like, that's the whole reason why you came there in the first place. So we have Denji, who is now at this elevator shaft, and Aki even takes a knife in the chest to protect Denji. And so, because Higashiyama is to go on and stab into Aki, and so now we have Aki who might bleed out, and so Denji is telling Power, it's like, well, hey, like, you can control like blood rights, so can you control like Aki to stop from bleeding out? And Power is like, I don't know if I can really control that, but we'll figure something out. So Denji is to state that he's going to go on a suicide mission, that he's going to fall down this elevator shaft and just destroy this thing with his chainsaw man like power, and just continue to slice and dice through it until this entity just desperately wants to stop this fighting and he gives up, or Chainsaw Man will go on and find the core of this thing and kill it off, like the heart of it or the core of it, and wipe it out. And again, either way, this will all resolve itself. And so we have Denji that is going to go on and take this leap and take this risk. And that's, of course, when the episodes end. So, with that said, I think I'm going to go on and get out here. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything that I did forget about. I feel that the cigarette part and the old partner slapping thing, like, that did happen by like the 6th episode, but like, I just kind of wanted to cover it quicker somewhere down the road. But yeah, so with that said, I'm gonna get out of here. Bye, everybody. Bye, everybody.